have tuned into a special edition of Green Horizon, a new frontier, brought to you by the Environmental Investment Fund. Coming up today, we'll take a look at a green haven at Salem, near Rundu, and also meet an agricultural graduate who is helping his father's farm become more profitable. This program will give you an insight into projects that are supported by the Environmental Investment Fund. We start just outside Rundu at Salem Demo site in the Kavango East region. Here, it is usually a matter of the early bird catching the worm. Street vendors gather early morning at Salem to buy fresh produce and then sell it in town. The reality here is that the street vendors are the preferred people to sell the produce because they pay cash and are seemingly reliable. The Green Horizon team spoke to Taipi Maria Masola, one of the street vendors, about her reasons to buy produce from here.
Yapa parako ininge kurandisa makowe nono nyanga no spinach. Iyo sekurandisa kutatukagwanako kasiringa kongande kunatukagwanako kavensi ketu kwatureresa vana vetu. Kwa shoprite no amtakureta ko iningi na vatete nare kapiakara fresh morose kuyatete ko yakara nare fresh yakutunda mevu. Panoka iransa kapna ikakara mazu mazu agomanzi kapitaizo nauka.
She also talked to us about the impact this purchase and resale has on her livelihood.
Amekurande kuyarando kumakoyo kosale mtani karandesa. Eparu lyaso imali aso yani futuru cheno pembo lyange yohena ni futu mema yohena ni futira bana bange kosure. Skuni na sikurera bandu obanzi ngakwatu skuni singaka mnaivura kufutira mnange kosure ngesi mnange kosure akara kokemba siko yunamu kwatundamo mo skuni no.
The freshness of the produce is clear for everyone to see, and what makes things even easier is that every vendor has the option to pick and choose what exactly they want and pay for it in cash. While ordinary Namibians might be wondering whether this is a profitable venture or not, the answer is clear. This area, for example, is only 20 meters by 40. There are cabbages planted here, and each row has about 160 cabbage. There are 35 rows, and 160 cabbage times 35 rows is 5,600 cabbage. If the sale of a single cabbage is taken on the lowest denomination at 10 Namibian dollar, then you will make $56,000. And even if you take 20% and declare it for inputs and production cost, the profits to take home are good. Fulai Anastasia is one of the recipients at this site, who is open about her achievements and challenges she is faced with.
Kulizuva nawa moku karasi ami mnandima mospata sangis nas kama ndio mna karangesi mo bloka zimwe kuvura kugwanamo senas makoigas kama nawa kuvura kugwanamo mayovi murongo ndi pamwe mayovi muyu mokutwara nyomu onagalimi nomu gana skama maudigwa gatakara na gogo mema unene po mema morwa nambili uhara kulima iningo yogisone nangwendi gaga makowi nyega karangesi agongano mama kwedi gatatu gapi nye morwa udiguo mema kuro kasike ko makwedi gani makura iruganisa nyono kuruganisa taipita kana toka gwana nyoyo isesu budi zange zeziasi vahepa kutuvatera unene po mema ano ngamo mwa kumona nye chaka ya kumbiru mukangoso po ose kuiza ngura tomvareke po hambo mbali dogoroko gonda kapatera mema nampilipo ronazi mwezo masiku simpe mamuli mumu ano okutuvatera vatuvatere unene ko mahina mema twahara.
Edward Mutero Sikerete, senior councillor from the Shumju Traditional Authority, also shares his delight over the opportunities granted to his community, saying that agricultural activities that lead to food production should be supported in the economy.
I'm very happy that this project has come to our community, especially this project is a long ago Now, because of lack of the assistant, it was not doing very well. But I think this project has somebody who can assist them. Because agriculture is the backbone of the country. Now, in order for the people to develop, to get food, to sustain, the first thing is to develop agriculture activities in the country. Food is very important. It must be produced locally and, if possible, for export. There are so many challenges. I can start for the first time is water. There are sometimes breakdown on the machine and the projects can come to a standstill. The second project is financial problems encountered by the owners of the project. And then lack of knowledge of agriculture. And of course the extension, agriculture extension is now on the move. They are assisted by agricultural extension officers. Then before I can say it was just left on their own and they could not do anything. They can sustain themselves, but it's not enough. They must produce more and of course quality products so that they can sell not in Kavango but outside the region. And so by so doing they come on the open market and can make more money.
Sikerete also has a word of advice to his people to own the project, as one day the donors will be gone, but they will remain.
My message to the communities is they must take all assistance in both hands, because the assistance may be small, but if people can see that you are eager to produce something, they will increase the assistance in various forms. My last is that the extension officers must give more extension officers in cultivating various products and by preventing insects especially, and by telling people, because some of the people are wanted to send to sell the thing while they are not grown up again.
While they're not ready.
Yeah, not ready for it.
130 kilometers west of Salem lies the Keller project, with 28 women and 3 men on site. This group moved from the low flood-lying area to this highland with the help of the Environment Investment Fund. It's a 2.5 hectare land which has been prepared very well with drip irrigation pipes, whereas the water supply comes from the river. The soil has a nutrient deficiency, and that is why the group has been collecting animal manure in these white bags to add to the soil in time for planting. Agricultural officer Depeya Havarua from Kavango West embraces the project and says that it will benefit the inhabitants.
This is a very positive development in the region. The regional leaderships and everyone in the regions is very concerned at the state in which we are as a region. We are being labeled as one of the poorest regions, but given the resources that we have, the water and the fertile soil, the question is always being asked, why can't we not produce our own food? So this is a type of development that we expect in the regions, that we are able to enhance the livelihood of the people, where we are assisting. They have the knowledge, they have been producing for years, they know how to produce, but they have been struggling. How do we extract water from the river for us to irrigate? They have to use bucket and so on to get, and being very close to the river. I'm sure you have seen some of those crop fields that are there very close to the river. It's becoming very dangerous to them. So these are type of development that we are trying to provide them with everything. This type of technology, drip irrigations that we have in here, solar powered irrigation systems, or the pump that's being provided water into the garden. So this is the type of development that honestly that we want to have these people, to help them improve their productions and to make sure that they produce enough for themselves, and even at the regional level and at the country at large.
Havarwa further explains that plans are underway to arrange for a market from this site so that the farmers can focus on the production and not the marketing aspect.
Just urge them to make sure that they honestly capitalize on these things, and as a ministry, as a donor, one thing that I'm also foreseeing that in as much as we are advising the farmers and encouraging them to produce, at the end of the day is the issues of the market. So we need to make sure that at that end of the market, we also make sure that there is that market. It's pointless for the farmers to produce so much tomatoes. We had how many holes that these things are having that these farmers have to produce those tomatoes for. Then the question is that what happens if I produce those tomatoes? It will be very sad to see this type of technology and this type of investment, yet these farmers, once produce tomatoes, have to go sit under a tree to sell these tomatoes. So we must make sure that at least there is that market. Then there's incentive. If you are encouraging this farmer to produce, you are saying as soon as you are done producing here, there is somebody who's going to buy your tomatoes. So I think we need to make sure that part, the farmers, once that part is being ironed out, the part of the market, I'm sure the farmer will be motivated to produce. Because if he's seeing a tomatoes, he's only seeing a $10, not only ordinary tomatoes, because he knows that this tomato is going to give me $10 at the end of the day.
Two women who are direct beneficiaries from this project, Justine Sakeus and Evi Nairenge, speaks about the impact this project is making in their lives.
Kwa kulizuva, mtu kulizuva wawa, kapitwa igazera singano ikarengesi, kulizuva si na wangesi. Ngazi vula chinja tai wizamo ngai wizamo poto kai randese tukagwane mwe paru lietu nele wana tunole koso no wana tukafutire kosure no iyo kuzamembo nanye tupune iyo kuzako peke senya chogram toka zara mtiko kutoka kumtara mtiko mbanga na inyoyo imota kulizuva apa kwalizuvire sili wawa morasi nike sadira karama mkunda gwetu apa twaizuvire asingano seta itupe kwalizuvire sili wawa mokuimona nga kuvura tia izangure mora ikunino inga tuniki ya kwa mwetu tuninke tuputo tunununu tupu einge swa ya tupe inene twakona kuyazangura uko kwa kumone kasi irugana ta ya turerupa mora mukata kasimbire ruhoho rwetu yaruturamo tupu memata ta gokutunda tumo mkurota patula tutatekere mora kuna nga simbi pako ya nyamwetu tatukatekere ukungesta yare rupa mora mema gokugwana no urero.
The commitment from the members at this site seems unparalleled. From gutting the site on a daily basis and being hands-on in every aspect, one would like to think that the sustainability of this project will be secured long after the donors have gone. Another farmer who is into horticultural production is Clement Muliokela Likukela. Likukela uses a borehole which he fitted with a solar system. He is based in Bukalo in the Salambala area and has a deputy in his son Nawa Linanga Muliokela, who has a diploma in agriculture. Together they have expanded this 1 hectare of their farm to 2 hectares. Likukela Sr. says that his crops are growing better now since his son got involved, especially his tomatoes, which are growing in the greenhouse nursery.
I would say
In the first place, the place is nice. Yeah, it's nice. It's fertile, and on that it's okay. Now the challenges that we face here is the diseases. The first thing are diseases. More diseases that we encounter all the time. The CRAVE gave me about 4,000. For that 4,000, I bought a shade net. You can see we will go there. That shade net, which I've planted the tomato, and the other piece is the nursery. That's more money where went. Then the small amount which is left is the one which I bought a fence, this wire which we are in. Otherwise, the 4,000 that I got from the CRAVE was exhausted over that. Because I have been finding some challenges, especially when I was planting tomato. For all along, when I was planting tomato, some challenges of all these diseases, especially tuta, the fungicides, and the other diseases.
Keller Jr. says that his duties as manager include keeping records of all the production on the farm.
My duty is as a farm manager. I manage this farm very well for my dad, for it to grow.
For what?
For it to grow very big.
For it to grow very big.
Yes, we want to make it as big as we can for now, yeah. Record keeping are very important because they are needed during, if you want to get a loan, they will need to find out what kind of business are you doing. Are you making profit or loss? So they will need those records where I normally record, they see that, okay, the income is coming for this person or what? Or the person is making some losses. So they will determine through using those record keepings. Because before we didn't have a greenhouse, a green shade for tomato, and we normally face a lot of challenges for birds, tuta absoluta, and some diseases. The whole field can die of, all the crops can dry with the disease, fungal disease. So since the CRAVE gave us the net shade, it has really improved our livelihood here at the farm.
Keller and his son have a 50 by 50 meter land where they have planted cabbages. 150 cabbages per row times 50 rows is equal to 8,000 cabbages. If they sold cabbages for $10, they will make 80,000 after 3 months of production. Now Keller, despite having gone through formal agricultural training, says he has learned a lot from his father, and they both agree that agriculture is the best employer.
In fact, I have learned a lot from him. He has a very, very vast experience in farming. He has been farming since before even born. So he knows the challenge he has faced through his farming up to now at his age. So at least I'm learning something from him, and also I'm saying, okay, Dad, you used to do this all the days, but now things have changed. Let's do this way so that at least we get a profit. But for him, he has a lot of knowledge in agriculture. I tell you, to my fellow youths, I think in Africa I have a challenge of employment. I think agriculture is the best employer in the world. Nation which has improved now, even America, is through agriculture. Brazil is through agriculture. If Namibians can stand and start farming, I think our life here will be improved very much through farming.
The Turianao project is based by the river. Here are 9 beneficiaries producing cabbage, carrots, tomatoes, and many other horticultural fruits. The beneficiaries themselves did the fencing of their garden. This is one of the projects that have been helping to curb insecurities of food in Namibia. And Galberta Mberema, the chairperson of the project, is full of praise for CRAVE through the EIF for their assistance.
Asi kuna kuriuba mpumwa ngochia pesa nos patas nos atulienavo mukakwateramo bayusi baunyande ndito akaras ndi 9 members asikuna kariuba mfuma onene koino mbaterota wana kwa CRAVE asina kaliyuva unene mfumu asili asikutunda poli naye yapo ino mbatero inatundiro kwa CRAVE asitokuna tuvatere sili unene ila linagumu unene mulipalo lyetu ila sihone nasine kunyima yo povana yava CRAVE vatupe ino mbatero yakali resi katuruwantanga kuma generator ndisi water pump eka ikarangosi katukombatanga unene kumaholi tani transport makura viyera mwetu kapika vikarangasi viyera myona nawa mara weno ngoli moti nakara si tunawana sola asita kumona viyera mwetu kuna kurenkavira kuna katurero pa unene tani mema kuna kuwa wana maoko kapina komba ntasi ndiwale tufutesine tukaure maholi sola zina kuyirwanta tupira ima mema kuna kuwa wana na urero.
There were also challenges that Mberema was hoping could be improved to make life easier on the river.
Maudito wetu utakurigwa nikirana oira kuhame na kundama yetu yakara unene palivu mkurenga si vura tuturemo mema ayure mkurenga si tuwatekiriteira kwara kunya muna kumona kunya kwara urundu kunya kuna karo su urundu unene kunya mema kapia kakara ngalira senesine tunaruwanta okutunda mndama atekere bihepa ninke bimena betu ukara si preja kabisa na wana wa mema kutundira mndama kwandi ngatu kuyamona kuno kwara mkuro kuno anyavura pupe nawa kosi bimena betu bya wane mara senesi mema na kutundira ngoli kundama akandute ikawane ya bimena betu yawe ku urundu nya preja kabisa na wana kwandi na wa perendama yetu ikare kuwiru kosi bimena betu yawe ku urundu ikawane nabe mema tani kuhame na kuninke wale kurutoko ngoli asi kurutoko kuna kuyenda sine tukawale tukapura wakamkunda kuna kutupura unene nchonjo yoku yeruka kuhame na kurutoko rurongombe twarenga ngasi ngombe dana mwetu kaduruwantanga mara yota kurenga sindi tulivatere mbatero yetu mkunda mara wao kuna katupura marutoko anakarenga sina kayeruka unene makora mbita kuligwani kirango ni no dito na karopo.
She concluded by calling on the youth to join the program.
Mbudi na kataba tupera kwa kumkundana ononinke asipo tunakara wana simbe tubadinkantu tani wakondi asetekere pakepa nokora ngedabana babo bayemu na msipata tu yalipa kelele asipata kabisa nakara so penche tu nakara sine sipata so mbunga oso tunakorenga subura sikabatere maparu yetu biongo tunakushungida subakondi no bana ke banakara mundi simpe bananchoka simpe banakara nonkondo dokuvura kuruwana asindi tuyemu na msipata muno tuyakupakerere postu tware unandima kumeho.
The local headman Matamu Joseph Mereke echoes Mberema's sentiment and call on local farmers to reduce manure prices or go into a barter deal of manure for vegetable exchange for the beneficiaries to produce better.
Epa kuhame na kurutoko rongombe orubaru antanga muno mukunda ndi muno mubipata twakara weno mara kutwara makuyuvu abene bantu po bana kuli yuva suweni mara makora ngedo ene kuvura wata pe ku bantu omukunda ira momo twabiwa tu pamparo kutetu Kavango ndi apaso agani mara muntu mesike unone kitwana kana na bindinke ndi sana kuruwa natupwira kutoma ira momo ana kuli yuva mara pa veta ya pamphongo lindika patu pankondo doka pangira bindinke bantu mara kutwara muntu owana kulimburuko mukunda situliyuve naye ninga tudai mtantere taye twa banasana korotoko rongandi uru mutenu ko posi muri yuve maraba unyena wane mbatero tanane wakamkunda ngasimpe muwane mbatero taninga kuvura tukaresi njendi titodinji Dakar ngopo kuvura bali yuve si ayo bali banaya muno aya yuve sai kuvura tumpeko natwe kalibidi nko twakara nako ano mutpeko rutoko napo njendi titodinji tu Dakar ngopo mara mkutwara ngoli mu bantu wetu sidi tukawa pangere baka tuuli terutoko wale pambili handi pandiro ndi paveta ndikapia kara hapo mara mkutwara ngoli mumkunda moto akara twakara nonkondo dokuba ambita nengetu twakara no udito kufana irango.
Merek is however happy with the impact that this project has had on the beneficiaries.
Kwande kome pamdinda wande mona kuliyuva kwa kuliyuva mfumwa moro watu wakumone kasi tunakara nali paro lyali wapa mkunda senya mono weno natuwa nchemo twadukiranga kuya uramo tukowe tudamate tunyanga moro akatukaranga mesiku yenda kurundu ure ufutire dogoro katike konta no kavyuke ukapapa retu bilikowe no nyanga mara weno kwa kuya mone kasi binaya pa mkunda pa pepi bakuliyuva bene mfumu aunene morwa vininge vinakaro pepi mesikuya tukudamu namukora kutura mukanyunga otamike kulya mara nenge ukaranga ngo sino vininge kurenga suyendere ntani ukavyuka komba ntaunenenga mtaninga kwa kutapa tubuwale mbudi bene yo iwasi vanuke bene ndi bali turemo mkuruwa na bino vininge mara ndi kwa kutafita tuwakurona morwa tunamono karesi makuli ko hasa nopanya vanuke kwa kuwana mombatero yao yanao mwao ndi byao inene ko bene kuliyuva mfumu anenge twakara na project mkunda dokufana irambie ino twasingilirepa.
The headman also calls for the beneficiary to save for gloomy days. 24-year-old Mberema Andreas is a grade 10 dropout and says that he has really benefited from the project as he was living in a deplorable state. And now he has a way of making a decent living, but a big chunk of his profits goes to buying pesticides for his area.
Pawe no kunimona si kuvura kuita kumea kuna kuyenda nakara no lihugwala kuvura kuchinja liparo lyande kutunda kunyana ho vile kutameka. Benakara no lihugwala benakara kana solo ko viru wana bino bini.
Monica Kanjim, who is the technical advisor with the Ministry of Agriculture, has the task of monitoring and evaluating the progress made here.
For me to set them up because of our good teamwork that we have, I used to bring them together. If I'm not on the ground physically, we have to communicate telephonica to share information. So it's not difficult for me to work with them. We offer trainings to them, and I used to do monitoring and evaluation, which is supposed to be done monthly if there's no transport constraint. But whenever there's a transport constraint, we can even communicate telephonica, and I encourage them to visit the office if myself I'm not on the ground. As well as we are coordinating with the project of CRAVE. If I'm not having transport, we can also come with my colleague Lynette to make a turn and see what is on the ground.
That brings us to the end of this program, but we continue again next week as we bring you a story of a woman who is changing Kabe. We also visit Namaluvi and find out just how organic farmers fight pests.